X Tower, Liberator 769, ready for takeoff, runway 30. 769, taxi to position and stand by for green light, runway 30. Tower 769 has the green light, rolling on runway 30. Roger, 769.
Very windy, about 40 to 45 mile per hour winds up here. That's where we came from. Well, we finally made it to the crash site. It's a pretty unbelievable crash site, just a lot of wreckage here. In fact, I'd say the entire plane is here. This plane left Biggs Army Airfield December 31st, 1943 at about 9 p.m. for a nighttime navigation flight. They last reported in over Salt Flats, New Mexico, or excuse me, Salt Flats, Texas, and they were never heard from again. The plane wasn't found until about 4 months later when a trapper hiking in these mountains found the wreckage in May of 1944. Very, very rugged terrain, very steep. It's going to take a long time to get out of here. There's a big piece which is perched up on the cliff. Here's a close-up of the shot that's hanging up at the top of that cliff above me, about 15 feet. Part of the superstructure. Here's another piece of armor plating right here. You can look at the prefix right there. That's the part number. When the prefix starts with 32, you know that you're looking at a B-24 Liberator. Here's another interesting piece of superstructure. Probably been laying in this exact same position for the last 70 years. Interesting to note how the tree has grown around that piece right there. Here's the nose gear. That's where the wheel would have fastened right on there. You can see where it just snapped off. These are the brake pads. Here's a hydraulic reservoir. It's kind of a neat little data plate there. It says model B-24D. Capacity in gallons was 6.8 gallons. Consolidated Aircraft Corporation, San Diego, California. Here's some bomb hooks. These would have held the shackles right there. In fact, here's one shackle that's still fastened, stainless steel shackle. Here's the bomb release mechanism. There are the arms right there. You can see where it says release, front, and arm. There's the Army Air Corps data plate. It's one of the side gunner doors. Some ammo tube next to it. The inside of the fuselage. Here's the inside of the tail turret. That's the 50 caliber machine gun mount. There's an ammo canister still in there. And that would have been his seat right there. There's a switch and an outlet. Dome light. The inside of the fuselage. There's the bottom of the tail turret. This is the inside of the wing. You can see a bunch of the cables, struts, hydraulic hoses. There's a flap down there. There's a radio box and an oxygen cylinder. This is part of the Davis wing that was found on the B-24 Liberator. Big section of the wing, and here's a tree that was probably toppled when the Liberator came in. There's a bunch of debris at the base of it. The underside of the wing, you can see what's left of the star and bar insignia. It's a hatch right here, access door. One of the gunner's doors. So this point right here is about the furthest that the airplane came. It flew into the trees and was torn apart by the trees and left a trail of debris probably about 200 yards. What we're looking at here is where a couple of engines came to rest. There's parts of superchargers. There's a propeller blade right there. Actually, there's two. There's wing flaps over there. Down there. More propellers, another engine buried. Here's part of the ailerons. Here's part of the carburetor. Big Stromberg carburetor is what the B-24 used. Engine cylinders. That's the turbo supercharger. Usually built by Ford. A couple generators. More supercharger parts.
There is a tremendous amount of debris. In fact, the entire aircraft is here, but it's shredded in about 10 million pieces and spread out over several hundred yards. There's no telling how much more debris is down at the bottom of the canyon. After the hike to get here, I don't think I feel like going down there and trying to find the stuff. But really feel sorry for the guys that were in this plane. Fortunately, it looks like it was a pretty quick ending.
Well, after a long hike, we're back on the trail. I just came back from the plane crash and bushwhacked for a long ways and finally made it back to the trail here. It's a strenuous hike. It's about 4.5, 5 miles each way. There's about a 3,000 foot elevation gain just to get to the crash. It's easy to see why the plane was never found. I'm not sure how the plane ended up where it did, to be honest with you, because there's no direct flight path. So it's easy to see how the Air Corps did not find the plane. The Air Corps, after the plane was reported missing, did spend about 2 to 3 weeks searching for it. They suspected that the plane did crash here in the Guadalupe Mountains, but it's a massive mountain range, very remote canyons and peaks, and they flew lots of searches, but they just couldn't find it. To add in the difficulty was there was a lot of snow. Once the plane crashed, it was covered with snow within a couple days, and there was virtually no chance to find it at that point. So it's easy to see why it wasn't found until the snows had thawed and a hunter was up here about 4 months after it crashed.